Global Access Award. To be eligible for the Global Access Award, you have to be a first-generation college student. You have to be an active participant in the AAC or C for E communities, and you have to receive CSU tuition assistance grant. Today's information session hopefully is going to cover a lot of good information for you. And we will also have another information session this semester on March 9th at 4 p.m. So if you need to leave early today, or if you talk to a friend and they say, gosh, I wanted to go to that too, let them know. There'll be another one coming up. Plus, we're taking a recording today. So there's plenty of information out there for you. We also have a Global Access Award program website, and one of my Global Access Award committee members can pop our Global Access Award website into the chat so you can all see that. So, we're in a pandemic. And in these pandemic times, we want you to know that students are still traveling and having great, enriching, transformative education abroad experiences. So starting this past summer, we had our staff and faculty-led programs travel. We had about 6 programs that traveled over the summer. We had a bunch more that traveled in the fall, a bunch more that traveled winter break. We've got a bunch of students abroad right now in spring semester. So I want you to know that we are working with students to make sure that they have the information that they need to be healthy and safe abroad, even during a pandemic. So there are some restrictions around the world. There are some countries that are not open to travel because of the pandemic, and we know which countries those are. So when you go to the Education Abroad program search from the Education Abroad homepage, and if you can search for programs there, there's a lot of different ways that you can search for programs through that search. If you find a program and if it is accepting applications, that means that that program, as far as we know, is viable for travel in the future semesters. And when you click on it to apply, it'll actually indicate the exact semester or term that it's open for application. So if you start an application, then you receive regular communication from our office from Education Abroad. And I promise you that we will not spam you. We don't have the time to spam you, and we know that you don't have the time to read excessive emails or like too many emails. If you start an application, that's a really great way to receive pertinent and regular communication from Education Abroad. There are so many different types of experiences that you can have abroad. So many years ago, our office was called Study Abroad, and sometimes we still refer to ourselves as Study Abroad, but there's so much more that you can do abroad than just have a traditional study experience. We do certainly offer those, and they're still a cornerstone of the types of programming that we offer, but we have research experiences abroad, internships abroad, and service learning or community engagement opportunities abroad. And about 1 in 5 CSU students were having an international education experience prior to the pandemic. So we were at about 22% of CSU undergrads going abroad before graduation. And that's an awesome number. I think nationally, the number is somewhere between 5 to 8% of undergraduate students have an international experience. And I think there are several things we can attribute that to. And I want to share those with you because we want to see you thrive while you're here and not just survive while you're at CSU. And having an education abroad experience is one of those opportunities to really thrive and kind of take advantage of all the different types of opportunities that you can have when you're going to college. You have definitely earned your spot at CSU, and you have earned this opportunity to be able to go abroad. So hopefully today will kind of spark your interest in going abroad in whatever way works for you. So when you think about going abroad, there's so many different reasons why you might want to go abroad, what you could gain from an international experience. So we've got all these academic benefits, right? That's probably the first thing that you'll think of. Our office offers 4 credit international experiences for students. So you can build on and enhance the academic experience that you're having at CSU while you're abroad. You can improve language skills by being immersed in a culture where you're not going to speak English every day and you're going to start to dream in another language. And that's pretty exciting. You can study topics that aren't offered at CSU and maybe topics of personal interest like marine biology or study Korean language, some things that maybe CSU doesn't offer on campus. And you're going to get a new perspective on what's going on in the world, politics, religion, cultures, all of those different aspects. And I know for me personally, when I went abroad, it really brought into focus the fact that I was an American. And I hadn't really thought too much about my American identity. I've been surrounded by Americans my whole life. And there were certain things about myself that I thought, oh, that's just me. It's just Vanessa. But when I went abroad, people would say, gosh, that's a really American way to think about that. And I was like, that gives me pause. And so I got to take some time to kind of think about like my American identity and what that means. So we get to dive a lot into our identities, all the various identities that we hold when we go abroad. And it just gives us time for deeper introspection. Oftentimes, when people talk about education abroad, they talk about the benefits that you'll have after you graduate. So, the way that an education abroad experience can really stand out on a job application or on an application to grad school. Those are definitely true. I can say every single job interview I have been on, my undergraduate education abroad experience came up. So having this education abroad experience can give you a competitive edge in the global workforce. And just when you think about competing for jobs, you are in this global workforce kind of competing with people from all over the world. So having an international experience can make you more competitive in the job market. It'll increase your intercultural communication skills, so communicating across cultures, and your adaptability and your flexibility, your grit, your determination, maybe language skills, increase your maturity, your independence, your initiative, and all of these things, all of these skills that you already have in you. You know, a lot of the skills that brought you here to CSU are the same skills and talents that you'll use when you travel abroad. They just get a chance to be worked out a little bit more, kind of flex that muscle a little bit more and let those skills and talents shine. So it's pretty neat. Education abroad is it means so many different things to different people, and your experience will be your experience. So no two people's experiences are the same, and that's kind of neat too. So you have lots of options for education abroad. Currently, we have about 400 programs for you to choose from in our program search, which you can link to from the Education Abroad homepage. Prior to the pandemic, we had students in 80 plus countries at any given time, and we had students on all 7 continents, including Antarctica. You can also go abroad at any time of the year. So we have students who go abroad for a traditional semester, fall or spring, 4 months each. Some students who choose to go abroad for a whole academic year, for 9 months. And then we have lots of programs that are shorter term programs that go abroad during the summer, anywhere from a week to 10 weeks over the summer, maybe 12 weeks. And then we have programs that travel over break. So fall break, winter break, spring break. So you got a lot of different opportunities and a lot of different options. Also want you to know that when you go abroad, you can generally take your major coursework in English. And if you're in a country where English is not the main or local language and you're learning a second language, then your language courses would be in that language. But your major coursework would more than likely be in English. And when you're looking at a program, the program will always state language of instruction for the courses. So you could go to Thailand and take business classes in Thailand. And if you've never spoken Thai before, we would encourage you to take an intro or beginner Thai language class for the semester for the time that you were there. It's not required to learn a second language when you go to a different country where they speak a different language than English, but we definitely encourage it because it's a great way to make friends and to really start to understand what's going on around you because language is so important. It's also a way to show that you're invested in the new culture that you're in when you take time to learn the language. And you also get to reflect more on your own language. And it can go really deep. I'll stop there. But yeah, so we have programs that run anywhere from 1 week to a whole year, and then everything in between. So we have CSU staff and faculty-led programs, and Ricky is a leader of one of those programs. He mentioned his program that goes to Morocco, Education and Culture in Morocco. So it's a cohort of CSU students, let's say anywhere from 10 to 20 CSU students, with 1 to 2 CSU staff or faculty members leading the group. So that's kind of a neat model if maybe going abroad by yourself doesn't sound attractive to you. Or if you just really like the idea of building community with a group of CSU students, or also knowing that when you come back, you're going to run into people on campus that you were abroad with. So there's lots of different reasons for participating in one of our staff and faculty-led programs. Another reason is that the courses are transcripted through CSU. So you're taking a CSU course, so you don't have to transfer back the course. Then we have programs that go abroad with